What if I told you that the very act you think is protecting your family's health is actually creating cancer-causing compounds in your kitchen right now? While millions of Americans meticulously organize their refrigerators, believing they're extending their food's life and safety, they're unknowingly transforming innocent, natural ingredients into toxic time bombs that could be silently undermining everything they're doing to support aging healthily. This isn't about processed junk food or mysterious chemicals with unpronounceable names. This is about organic potatoes, fresh tomatoes, artisanal bread, and other wholesome foods that are literally becoming dangerous because of where you're storing them. The shocking truth is that your refrigerator, that modern marvel of food preservation, is systematically destroying the very compounds that support youthfulness while creating new ones that research has linked to cancer, cellular damage, and accelerated aging. Right now, as you're watching this, there are at least 6 common foods sitting in refrigerators across America that are undergoing chemical transformations that would horrify you if you could see them happening. These aren't exotic ingredients from distant countries. These are staples found in kitchens from Maine to California. Foods that families buy specifically because they want to support nutrition for the elderly and maintain health in old age. The cruel irony is that the cold storage meant to preserve these foods is actually stripping away their protective properties while potentially creating compounds that could contribute to the very diseases people are desperately trying to prevent. What's even more disturbing is that some of these mishandled foods can create conditions for bacteria so dangerous that they produce toxins more potent than rattlesnake venom. But here's what the food industry doesn't want you to know, and what your grandmother understood instinctively before modern appliances change everything. Nature designed these foods with specific storage needs that have nothing to do with keeping them cold. For those committed to how to be a healthy elderly person and how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person, understanding these storage secrets isn't just about better tasting food, it's about unlocking the full medicinal potential of what you're already buying while avoiding the hidden dangers lurking in seemingly innocent kitchen habits. The families who master these simple storage techniques don't just save money on wasted groceries. They're actively supporting their immune system in old age and protecting themselves against the cellular damage that accelerates aging. The next few minutes will completely transform how you think about food storage, revealing the specific mistakes that are costing American families their health and showing you exactly how to turn your kitchen into a true source of healing and vitality. From a potato that's creating acrylamide in your Sunday morning hash browns to the tomato that's losing its cancer-fighting lycopene every hour it stays cold, you're about to discover why some of the healthiest foods on earth become health hazards when stored incorrectly, and more importantly, how to fix these dangerous mistakes starting today. Most folks think they're doing the right thing when they toss those Idaho russets straight into the fridge after grocery shopping. It's what their mothers did, what seems logical, what feels safe. But here's what's happening behind that closed refrigerator door, a silent transformation that's turning one of America's most beloved comfort foods into a potential health hazard. The cold temperature is breaking down the potato's natural starches into simple sugars, setting the stage for something far more sinister than anyone realizes. When aging healthily becomes a priority, understanding these hidden dangers in our kitchens becomes absolutely crucial. The real shock comes when these sugar-loaded potatoes hit the heat of your cast iron skillet or that trusty oven your grandmother passed down. As those golden edges start to form, not even burnt, mind you, just that perfect crispy texture we all crave, a compound called acrylamide begins to develop. This isn't some far-off laboratory creation. It's forming right there in your kitchen, in food that looks absolutely normal and delicious. Research from institutions like Harvard and Johns Hopkins has linked this compound to several types of cancer, including endometrial, ovarian, esophageal, and kidney cancers. For those focused on maintaining health in old age, this invisible threat lurks in what seems like the most innocent Sunday morning hash browns. The beauty of the solution lies in its simplicity, much like the wisdom our great-grandparents possessed before modern refrigeration changed everything. Store those potatoes in a cool, dark place, a pantry, basement corner, even a paper bag in the garage if it stays between 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep the skins on when you cook them. They're packed with nutrients that support youthfulness and provide natural protection against cellular damage. When you do cook them, opt for gentler methods, steaming, boiling, or roasting at moderate temperatures rather than deep frying or high-heat searing. This approach to how to be a healthy elderly person starts with these seemingly small but powerful changes. But potatoes aren't the only common food hiding a dangerous secret in America's refrigerators. There's another staple sitting right there on your middle shelf, something that appears in nearly every household from Maine to California, that's losing its most protective properties every single day it stays cold. This vibrant red food, beloved in everything from Capri salads to Chicago deep dish pizza, is silently surrendering the very compounds that could help maintain your immunity in the elderly years. The irony is almost cruel. The colder we keep it, the more we strip away nature's built-in medicine cabinet. That bright red tomato sitting in your refrigerator's crisper drawer is slowly losing what makes it truly special, and most people have no idea it's happening. Every hour that passes in that cold environment strips away the very essence that transforms a simple fruit into nature's powerhouse of protection. The cold doesn't just affect the flavor. It's systematically destroying lycopene, the compound that gives tomatoes their vibrant color and their remarkable ability to fight cellular damage. For those pursuing youthfulness and focusing on nutrition for the elderly, this silent loss represents a tragic waste of one of nature's most potent medicines. What should be a cornerstone of aging, healthily, becomes just another disappointing piece of produce. The sensory betrayal hits you the moment you slice into that cold tomato. The watery juice that runs everywhere, the mealy texture that crumbles rather than cuts cleanly, the bland taste that barely resembles what a tomato should be. It's like biting into cardboard soaked in water, a far cry from those sun-warmed beauties you remember from childhood summers in places like Iowa or Georgia. But the real tragedy isn't what you can taste. It's what you can't. That destroyed lycopene was your body's ally in maintaining health in old age, a natural shield against the oxidative stress that accelerates aging. The refrigerator, in its well-meaning attempt to preserve, has actually stolen the tomato's soul and its medicinal value. Here's where the wisdom of Italian grandmothers and Southern cooking tradition shines through. They knew something modern convenience made us forget. Store your tomatoes at room temperature, letting them bask in the gentle warmth of your kitchen counter where they belong. If you want to maximize that lycopene content, reach for sun-dried tomatoes or cook them into a rich sauce. Heat actually increases the bioavailability of these protective compounds. Companies like Muir Glen and Hunt's have perfected canned tomatoes that often contain more lycopene than fresh ones, especially during winter months when fresh tomatoes travel thousands of miles from places like California's Central Valley. This simple shift in how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person starts with honoring the natural needs of our food. Yet even as we solve the tomato mystery, another beloved staple lurks in refrigerators across America, falling victim to the same cold trap that's destroying families' health one meal at a time. This daily companion to every sandwich, every morning toast, every comfort meal, sits wrapped in plastic or tucked into bread boxes inside that chilly environment, slowly developing something far worse than stale texture. What's growing invisibly within those innocent-looking slices could undermine everything you're doing to support your immune system in old age, and the irony is that most people put it there thinking they're being responsible and careful with their food storage. The bread aisle betrayal runs deeper than most Americans realize, and it starts the moment that loaf of Wonder Bread or artisanal sourdough from the local bakery hits the refrigerator shelf. Families across the nation, from bustling New York apartments to quiet suburban homes in Ohio, believe they're extending their bread's life by keeping it cold, but they're actually accelerating its demise in ways that would shock them. The refrigerator's humid environment creates the perfect breeding ground for mold spores, while the cold temperature crystallizes the starches, turning what should be soft, nourishing sustenance into a disappointing, cardboard-like disappointment. For those committed to aging healthily and maintaining proper nutrition for the elderly, this common mistake represents a daily assault on both enjoyment and health. The very act intended to preserve becomes an agent of destruction. What's happening inside that plastic bag is a microscopic horror show that most people never see coming until it's too late. Those tiny green or black spots that suddenly appear aren't just unsightly. They're the visible tip of an invisible iceberg of fungal networks that have already spread throughout the entire loaf. Brands like Pepperidge Farm and Sara Lee engineer their products to last longer. But even these commercial breads fall victim to the refrigerator's deceptive promise of preservation. The mold you can see represents millions of spores you can't, and consuming even clean parts of affected bread can introduce toxins that compromise how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person. This isn't just about taste disappointment. It's about the silent sabotage of your immune system in old age. The solution lies in understanding what our great-grandparents knew instinctively. Bread belongs in a cool, dry place, not a cold, moist one. Store your daily bread in a bread box, a paper bag, or even wrapped in a clean kitchen towel on the counter where air can circulate freely. For longer-term storage, embrace the freezer instead of the refrigerator. Freezing actually transforms some of the bread starches into resistant starch, a prebiotic that feeds the beneficial bacteria crucial for maintaining health in old age. Companies like Dave's Killer Bread and Ezekiel have created nutrient-dense options that freeze beautifully, allowing you to toast slices directly from frozen while preserving both texture and nutritional value. This approach supports youthfulness by honoring both the food's natural properties and your body's need for proper gut health. But bread isn't the only healthy food being sabotaged by well-meaning refrigeration habits that plague kitchens from coast to coast. There's a creamy, green superfruit that's become the darling of health-conscious Americans, appearing in everything from California avocado toast to Texas guacamole, that's being systematically ruined by the cold treatment. This nutrient powerhouse, packed with healthy fats essential for brain health and cellular repair, undergoes a cruel transformation when subjected to premature chilling, leaving families with bitter disappointment instead of the smooth, buttery experience nature intended. The timing of when this fruit meets the cold could mean the difference between a meal that supports healthy aging and one that becomes an expensive waste. The avocado tragedy playing out in American refrigerators represents one of the most expensive food mistakes families make, turning what should be a creamy, nutrient-dense superfood into a bitter, fibrous disappointment. From the organic markets of Portland to the grocery chains of Florida, people are grabbing those hard, green Hass avocados and immediately storing them in the cold, thinking they're being smart about preservation. But here's the cruel irony. That refrigerator is locking the avocado in a state of permanent immaturity, preventing the natural enzymatic processes that transform tough, bitter flesh into the buttery perfection that supports aging healthily. The cold essentially freezes time for this fruit, but not in a good way. It freezes it in its most unpalatable, least nutritious state. What should be a cornerstone food for those focused on nutrition for the elderly becomes an exercise in frustration and waste. The sensory assault of a prematurely refrigerated avocado is unmistakable, that chalky, bitter taste that coats your mouth, the stringy texture that refuses to mash properly, the way it turns brown within minutes of cutting despite being technically fresh. Brands like Holy Guacamole exist because people have given up on getting fresh avocados right, settling for processed alternatives rather than understanding this simple fruit's needs. The healthy monounsaturated fats that should support brain health and cardiovascular function remain locked away in cellular structures that never properly developed. For those seeking how to be a healthy elderly person, this represents a double loss: wasted money and missed nutritional opportunities that could have supported youthfulness and cognitive function. The disappointment runs deeper than taste. It's a betrayal of the very health goals that led people to choose avocados in the first place. The wisdom lies in patience and understanding the avocado's natural rhythm, much like the approach used by farmers in California's Central Valley who perfected this art over generations. Let those firm avocados ripen at room temperature, checking daily until they yield gently to pressure but aren't mushy, usually 3 to 5 days depending on your home's temperature. Once perfectly ripe, they can be refrigerated for a few days, or better yet, frozen for smoothies and sauces where texture matters less but nutrition remains intact. Companies like Good Foods and Sabra have built empires on guacamole, but homemade versions using properly ripened avocados deliver superior flavor and support maintaining health in old age through higher nutrient density. This patient approach to food preparation reflects a broader philosophy of how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person, understanding natural processes rather than fighting them. Yet while we solve the avocado puzzle, another yellow fruit beloved across America sits in refrigerators nationwide, undergoing its own cold-induced transformation that's far more serious than mere texture changes. This potassium-packed powerhouse, found in lunch boxes from Seattle schools to Miami retirement communities, develops dark, unsightly spots when chilled, but the real concern isn't cosmetic. What's happening inside that familiar curved fruit involves sugar concentration and metabolic impacts that could affect blood glucose levels in ways that particularly concern those managing their health as they age, turning what should be a healthy snack into a potential metabolic challenge. The banana sitting in your refrigerator's fruit drawer is undergoing a deceptive transformation that fools the eye while potentially endangering your metabolic health, especially for those focused on aging healthily. Families across America, from busy households in Texas to quiet retirement communities in Arizona, witness their bananas developing those telltale black spots in the cold and assume the fruit is spoiling, but the opposite is actually happening. The cold triggers the banana skin to darken while simultaneously concentrating the sugars inside, creating a metabolic time bomb disguised as healthy produce. What appears to be decay is actually a sugar concentration process that transforms this potassium-rich fruit into something that can spike blood glucose levels dangerously high. For those committed to maintaining health in old age, understanding this hidden sugar surge becomes crucial for preventing diabetes and supporting long-term youthfulness. The metabolic reality behind those darkened bananas represents a serious concern that most Americans don't realize they're facing every time they reach for what looks like a healthy snack. Companies like Chiquita and Dole market bananas as natural energy sources, and they are, but when cold stored and over-ripened, they become concentrated sugar bombs that can trigger insulin spikes comparable to eating candy. The natural starches that should provide sustained energy have converted to simple sugars, creating the very metabolic chaos that contributes to inflammation, cellular aging, and increased cancer risk. This isn't just about managing weight. It's about understanding how food processing, even natural processing, affects our body's ability to maintain stable blood sugar levels essential for nutrition for the elderly. The irony cuts deep. The fruit chosen for its health benefits becomes a contributor to the very diseases people are trying to prevent. The solution requires a fundamental shift in how Americans think about banana ripeness and storage, embracing principles that support both taste and metabolic health. Choose bananas with just a hint of green at the stem end. When they're firm but not rock hard, this is when their starch content is optimal and their sugar concentration manageable. Store them at room temperature, hanging from a banana hook or separated to prevent over-ripening, and consider wrapping the stems in plastic wrap to slow the ethylene gas production that accelerates ripening. For longer storage, slice and freeze them while they're still slightly green. Frozen banana pieces make excellent smoothie additions without the sugar overload, supporting how to be a healthy elderly person through better portion control and nutrient timing. This approach honors the fruit's natural progression while protecting your body's delicate glucose balance. But bananas aren't the only common kitchen staple being sabotaged by refrigeration, and the next culprit might surprise you with its potential for both tremendous health benefits and serious hidden dangers. There's a pungent, powerful bulb that's been America's cooking companion for generations, found in everything from Italian marinara sauces in Boston's North End to Cajun dishes in Louisiana bayous, that loses its most protective compounds when stored incorrectly. This aromatic guardian of health, packed with compounds that could help fight cancer and support immune system in old age, faces a double threat when mishandled. Not only does cold storage strip away its medicinal properties, but a common preparation mistake can actually create conditions for one of the most dangerous foodborne toxins known to science. The garlic bulbs tucked away in America's refrigerators are silently surrendering their most powerful healing compounds, transforming from nature's pharmacy into disappointing kitchen props that offer little more than flavor. From the organic markets of California to the corner stores of Vermont, people store these papery white bulbs in the cold, watching helplessly as green shoots emerge from each clove, the visual sign that the precious Allison garlic's cancer-fighting superhero compound is rapidly disappearing. This sprouting process isn't just cosmetic. It's a biological alarm bell indicating that the very substances that could support aging healthily and boost immunity in the elderly are being systematically destroyed. What should be a cornerstone of how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person through natural medicine becomes just another pungent cooking ingredient stripped of its protective power. The refrigerator, once again, proves to be the enemy of the very health benefits families are seeking. But the garlic story takes a terrifying turn when well-meaning home cooks across the nation make a seemingly innocent mistake that could literally be deadly. Picture this common scenario. Someone in Ohio or Georgia chops fresh garlic, mixes it with olive oil for a homemade salad dressing or marinade, then stores it at room temperature thinking they've created a healthy, flavorful addition to their meals. What they've actually created is the perfect breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria that produces botulism toxin, one of the most potent poisons known to science. This isn't some far-fetched laboratory danger. It's a real threat that has hospitalized families who thought they were making healthy choices. The combination of garlic's low acidity, oil's oxygen-free environment, and room temperature creates conditions where this deadly bacteria thrives, turning what should support nutrition for the elderly into a potential killer lurking in the kitchen. The solution requires understanding garlic's natural needs while respecting the serious safety concerns that come with improper handling. Store whole garlic bulbs in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place, a mesh bag in your pantry, a ceramic garlic keeper with holes, or even a paper bag in a dark cabinet where air can circulate freely. Companies like Christopher Ranch, America's largest garlic producer, recommend keeping bulbs intact until ready to use, as breaking the papery skin accelerates deterioration. If you must prepare garlic in advance, chop or mince it and freeze it immediately in small portions. Freezing halts both the sprouting process and any bacterial growth while preserving much of the beneficial compounds. For oil-based preparations, add acid like lemon juice or vinegar to lower the pH and prevent botulism, or store them refrigerated and use within days. This approach supports maintaining health in old age through both safety and nutrition. The revelation about these 6 common foods represents just the beginning of understanding how modern storage habits are systematically undermining American families' health goals. Each refrigerated mistake compounds the others, creating a perfect storm of nutritional loss and potential danger that affects everything from daily energy levels to long-term disease prevention. What seems like careful food management becomes an unwitting assault on youthfulness and vitality, particularly crucial for those focused on how to be a healthy elderly person. The path forward requires not just individual changes, but a complete reimagining of how we think about food storage, preparation, and the delicate relationship between preservation and nutrition that could determine whether our golden years are truly golden or shadowed by preventable health challenges. Now that you've discovered these 6 refrigerator mistakes that have been silently sabotaging your health, the question isn't whether you can afford to make these changes. It's whether you can afford not to make them. Every day you wait is another day. These foods are losing their healing power or potentially developing harmful compounds in your kitchen. Think about it. How many meals have you already eaten where you unknowingly consumed acrylamide from cold-store potatoes or missed out on lycopene from refrigerated tomatoes? How many times has your family been shortchanged of the very nutrients that could support aging healthily and maintaining optimal nutrition for the elderly? This is your wake-up call to take control of your kitchen and transform it from a place of hidden dangers into a sanctuary of true nourishment. Tonight, when you get home, I challenge you to walk to your refrigerator and honestly assess what's in there. Are your potatoes developing sugars that will become carcinogens when cooked? Are your tomatoes losing their cancer-fighting lycopene as we speak? Is that avocado locked in bitter disappointment because it never had the chance to ripen properly? The power to change this is literally in your hands, and it starts with a simple act of moving these foods to where they belong. But here's what I really want you to ask yourself. If something as simple as proper food storage can mean the difference between supporting youthfulness and accelerating cellular damage, what other obvious health habits might you be getting wrong? How many other well-intentioned choices are actually working against your goal of how to be a healthy elderly person? This knowledge about food storage is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to understanding how to maintain autonomy as an elderly person and support your immune system in old age through informed decisions rather than following outdated conventional wisdom. The families who implement these changes don't just see improvements in their food's taste and texture. They're investing in their long-term health in ways that compound over years and decades. Every properly stored potato that doesn't form acrylamide, every room-temperature tomato that delivers maximum lycopene, every correctly ripened avocado that provides optimal nutrition. These are the small, daily victories that add up to significant protection against the diseases that threaten our golden years. Your kitchen can become your first line of defense in maintaining health in old age, but only if you're willing to challenge what you think you know and embrace what science actually tells us. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden dangers lurking in your own refrigerator, then you're ready to discover what other healthy habits might be undermining your wellness goals without you even realizing it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because we're just getting started on this journey of uncovering the truth about food, health, and aging that the mainstream health industry doesn't want you to know. Your future self, the one enjoying vibrant health and independence in your later years, will thank you for taking action today rather than waiting for tomorrow.